Hello and welcome back, everyone. I hope that this finds you doing well, feeling well, and having a great day wherever you are. I want to share a little bit about phantom limb, the matrix, and the interface theory of perception, as shared by Professor Donald Hoffman in his papers on consciousness. And not to get too heady or too weird, or because I'm not any kind of a geek on this, but I find it interesting. In the 1980s, probably around 1986, 87, 88, while I was a student at West Valley College earning an AA degree in my 20s at a time my mother and father would call wet behind the ears for 20 and 30-year-olds, or green, I was learning and experiencing, and I had planned to get married, and that had kind of fallen through. So I thought, well, I better get myself in some sort of training so I can get a better job than this one that I had working at a 7-Eleven store. And since I had to pick out different electives in order to get your degree that will satisfy the requirements that you need to graduate, one of them that I had picked out reluctantly and kind of thought it would be extremely extra boring was Philosophy 101 and Psychology 101. Yet when I went and sat in Dr. DJ Serralo's class for Philosophy 101, way back probably 1984, 85, I was absolutely so impressed. I thought, this is wonderful. I got to take more philosophy. This is just great. And West Valley College in Saratoga, that was the most absolutely beautiful campus in the area, and one of the best areas I've ever seen in the world in all my travels, had a sister campus called Mission College, also in the Bay Area, now Silicon Valley, in Santa Clara, called Mission College again. And a class came up called Phantom Limb Theory in the philosophy department. I thought, well, that is going to be so interesting. I've always been so interested in healing and philosophy and psychology and neuroscience, so I'm going to sign up for that. So I did, and I drove all the way over to Santa Clara from Saratoga. And there were about 5 students in the class, and the professor got up. I wish I could remember his name. And he started talking about the vat theory. Since I'm sure most people don't know what that is, and I didn't either, he talked about, what if you were just a brain in a vat being stimulated to believe that you had the experience, this experience of life, right? And you saw yourself as just another normal human being having an experience of life, but you were really a brain in a vat. Well, that had my jaw dropping, maybe not physically, but it sure was on an emotional level. I thought, my goodness, I got to hear more. And darn it, the class was canceled because we had 5 people and not all those wanted to return after they heard his story, but I was just salivating at wanting to return again. So anyway, that got canceled, and I was very sad and disturbed by it, but that's how it was. That folds us into the second part, which is The Matrix. And in 1999, what came out was, for me, my opinion is, it's a documentary more than it is just a movie, a piece of entertainment, The Matrix. And I thought, well, this is wonderful because I've always had a feeling that we're living in a bit of a computer simulation. And that brought me back because it kind of does dovetail with the VAT, the VAT, the VAT theory, the brain in a vat being stimulated to think, right? And then in the last recent many years, I've discovered Professor Dr. Donald D. Hoffman, who's a cognitive psychologist and more. And I will tell you that there's no way I could even possibly understand the mathematics in his papers on consciousness. But the rest of what I read had me just completely enthralled, especially his talk about the dashboard. So this interface theory of perception is basically like we're using the icons on a desktop of a computer for our reality, and to, instead of having this consensus reality, which is what, it's my opinion that most people live within, that they get up every day, the sun's shining, it's Monday through Sunday and Monday through Sunday, and they get up and do the same things, and they control their diets, and they try to control their family members, and they try to make their way through life with all these artificial constructs like cost of living, which I talked about very briefly yesterday. This is a very, very interesting, and then that sort of dovetails with what I really just touched on yesterday in the symbiotic podcast video, which was the brain-computer interface. and brain-computer interfaces may be used for people with phantom limb pain, PLP. Psilocybin studies are being done right now with great possibilities for people with phantom limb pain. So what I'm looking at here ultimately, in my mind, my thoughts rather, not just my mind, but my thoughts, are what does that come to? What does that mean for us when it comes to our healing? Well, it sort of implies that we will be using more virtual reality type-ish modes for our healing to rewrite our narratives instead of staying in our same narrative, which is this is what life is, this is what reality is. And using that hopefully to help people with phantom limb pain. But also it really brings me a great deal of curiosity because, like I told you, I'm vehemently against having everyone equipped with brain-computer interface, BCI. But I'm interested in how it can be helpful for people. I just don't want it mandatory for all of us. I like nature and I like my concept of reality, and that's where I'm kind of going to sit and stay right now. So this was just a short video. I would love to hear, really love to see your comments in the comment section down below. What'd you think about Phantom Limb, the story, The Matrix? Did you watch The Matrix? What'd you think about it? Did you watch it over and over? Did you watch any of the sequels? Did you read Donald Hoffman's paper? A couple papers he's got out on consciousness. What do you think about brain-computer interface? Do you think it's going to become a reality pretty soon? I'm looking to find others like myself and not like myself who are interested in connecting, being real, being very authentic, being non-perfect people, not being judging each other. So let me hear from you in the comments, and I hope that you'll subscribe and help us get to our 1,000 soon. And I'll see you again next time with some more interesting content.